guys, it's Lavetta.
And it's Miriam.
And this is the Notorious Women podcast, a comedy podcast about some of history's most notorious women.
Some of these queens are heroic.
And some of these bitches are horrific. But we think the most interesting thing of all is that they're all notorious. Yes.
That's right. Okay.
We are deep into the holiday season. And how are you holding up?
Listen, I'm fine. Okay.
Say it like you mean it. Are you fine? Are you fine? Are you really fine?
I'm so fine. No, like I love the holiday season so much. You know what we watched last night?
What?
Have you seen Spirited?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's one of my absolute favorites. And I let my children stay up till like 10 o'clock at night to watch it with me. Because I'm a selfish mom. There, go ahead. At me all day. It's the Christmas season. What am I taking joy away from children? No.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I watched last week after we talked about it?
What?
Die Hard.
You watched it.
I totally did.
Is it once again very much a Christmas movie?
It's totally a Christmas movie. And I think somebody on like our TikTok or something was like, thank you. It's a Christmas movie. It's like, yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm hanging in there. I love Christmas. I'm being very good, not eating too much chocolate, not too much junk food, because
not
that's
doing
the
that.
thing.
I'm eating all of the things.
I'm being pretty good, only on my cheat days, but I also like, I don't know if you've seen on TikTok, there's like this thing about the drones people are talking about, but apparently it's only online, because in the press, they're kind of talking about it, but in the press, it just seems like, I almost feel like there's like an air of like, this is above your pay grade. So like the federal government's like, it's not aliens. It's not an attack. Like, I have a feeling it's some like asshole with too much time on their hands or money on their hands.
I think it's a billionaire. I think it's some fucking billionaire.
Because there's a lot of them like just flying around. Yeah.
That's just like, tee-hee. I'm in control, like.
But more importantly, I actually think it's a distraction, because I think that Elon Musk is in cahoots with Putin to punk Donald Trump into doing whatever they want to do. And I think he might fall for it. So I think Elon Musk, or I should say allegedly, because I don't know.
It's alleged.
Please. It's totally... Yeah. But that's just my opinion. But I think people should probably look a little bit closer, like, because remember Elon Musk was saying he was talking to Putin like every day leading up to the election.
I think allegedly it's the only thing that makes sense. Okay.
Like, it's like, so, I mean, my question is Elon Musk in cahoots with Putin against Donald Trump in the United States of America? And is he also responsible and the person behind these drones that are being used as a distraction, so we don't look closely at his ties to Russia? I don't know.
I just want to be clear that Notorious Women podcast is only asking questions. Okay? These are just questions.
These are just questions.
We're curious women. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's I mean, isn't that what Fox News does? They just ask questions
all fucking day. Okay.
Oh my God. I was talking to a friend of mine also. We were talking about politics, and I was like, oh, I can't do it now. But I told her, I was like, you know what? The time for pussyfooting is over.
It's done.
I'm gonna need my white allies, white people, to show up like John motherfucking Brown. Do you know who John Brown is?
Oh,
John Brown. Yes. For those of you who don't know, John Brown led a slave revolt. And he was like, John Brown was so gangster that even black abolitionists were like, chill. Yeah. He was like, let's kill them all. Like,
let's kill all these motherfuckers. And the black men were like, well, maybe not all of them. Okay.
Like, not all of them. I'm going to need, if you over here with us, I'm going to need you to have that John Brown energy. None of this pussyfooting around talking about this is not who we are. We're better than them. No, we ain't.
We're
John Brown, that situation. No, fuck this. I need my white people to show up gangster.
Listen, what's the show with Kevin Spacey that I forget the name of every time? Where
House of Cards?
House of Cards. And I'll say it again. I will vote for him. I will vote for him for president. Now, I know that he committed murder and he's a bad man. And I don't give a fuck because I remember when you listen to the little bits, he's like, let's pass the education policy for more children to have access to the things that they need. You'd hear little bits of the things they were passing because they were technically Democrats. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
just the shit we need. That's it.
I'm going to need the left to show up like John Brown in his account. Like, yeah, white people coming over here talking about, okay, let's calm down. Let's have a reason. We can't be like them. Fuck you. We going all in.
Yeah.
Guillotine and all. I need that guillotine John Brown energy.
Bring it up. Bring it back up.
Bring it up.
Sharpen the knives. Okay.
On that note, I guess we should get started.
We should get started. Merry Christmas, everybody. Yes.
And Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Joyous Kwanzaa. And
happy holidays.
That
covers everybody.
Joy to I think there's 450 other holidays that are happening around now.
Yeah.
I don't know what they all are, but happy that.
Happy that. Happy all of that. We want you to have the right to celebrate because usually any holiday around this time is joyous. There's like food and presents and shiny things.
Yeah.
Like it's all good. Let's do that. Let's do that. And so let's get started. So this week is my turn, and this actually is wrapping up this arc of Pumpkin Spice, Naughty and Nice.
That's right.
Next week we will have an interview we did with an author by the name of Annie Reed.
It's a great one, you guys. Yeah, it's a great one.
And she's talking about her new book, which is so great. So that'll be right there for you as after you've stuffed your face, because it comes out on the 26th, the day after Christmas. So, but this week is coming out to inspire you as you're leading up into Christmas. So, My Notorious Woman.
Yes.
So, we've been doing a lot of Christmas Thanksgiving theme things, owing to the arc and the theme that we've had this go around. And it's been mostly pretty good and nice and food related and, things
Lavetta,
like that. And,
I did talk about a woman who chopped off a man's head last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. But see, to me, that's like
joyous
and fun and, because
I almost forgot.
Yeah,
he deserved it. Yeah.
But true. On that note, Miriam, I'm actually following that theme because I love a murderess.
I do know that.
So my Notorious Woman this week is a woman by the name of Michele Anderson.
Okay.
Now,
should I know her?
No, I don't think you would, but you probably have heard this story, so let's get into it.
I'm excited.
Michele Anderson was born Michele Kristen Anderson in 1978 to Wayne Scott Anderson, a Boeing engineer, and Judy Anderson, a postal worker.
Okay.
So, upper middle class family, father's an engineer, mother's a postal worker. Those are good jobs, as we say in the South. Good jobs. Now, she is the youngest of her parents' children. She has an older brother by the name of Scott.
Okay.
And growing up, she had a solid middle class upbringing. And by all accounts, both her parents were very loving and caring to their children, just typical parents. Despite this, and unlike her parents, Michele and her brother didn't have the same professional success, into adulthood. It's a different time.
Yep.
Money is,
the
baby boomers, despite what they might tell you, did have it a little bit easier than the rest of us.
They had it a fuck ton easier. You're so nice. Oh my God. The house that was $90,000 is $8.2 million now. Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. And it's so funny that you say that because actually, obviously, a 2-income household is always a good thing, but especially if one is probably making 6 figures and the other is making close to it. So they did very well, her parents. But, but they also, like many parents, they helped their children out when they needed them. So Michelle and her brother Scott, they weren't quite as well off as their parents, but they were doing, at least Scott was. He was a carpenter by this point, and he had a family and he was doing pretty good, but Michelle seemed to kind of struggle. Now, some sources say that she thought of herself as being treated like the black sheep of the family.
Okay.
Owing to that, she seemed to kind of have no real direction in life, kind of like going from job to job to job and not really. I think she might be one of those young people who didn't stick to much.
Yeah.
As soon as it got hard, she just kind of, I think there's actually a lot of people like that. And so she thought of herself, she thought her family treated her like the black sheep of the family. But they also said that she tended to be one of those people who never took responsibility for anything.
Listen, we all know those people. Come on.
Yeah. It's kind of like always somebody else's fault. Like, but it's like you came to work drunk. Like, I'm not saying this is what she did, but that's an example.
Like, it's like,
and she's like, well, they always ride me at work and I'm stressed out, so I had to do something. And it's like, yeah, but you came to work, like, So again, I'm not saying that's what she did, but that I'm from the clues, I'm picking up that kind of personality.
I feel like you're guessing that she probably did show up to work drunk a couple of times, but you cannot make that accusation with any knowledge. But having known other people in this world, she fits the bill.
Yeah.
I hear you. I mean, you.
The modern equivalent is like showing up smelling like weed, like really smelling like weed. And it's like, you can smoke weed at home. This is California. It's legal here. But like, you go into work. So try not to smell like marijuana, So now all of this. So we are coming to, so what takes place takes place on Christmas Eve, 2007. So around this time in 2007, Michelle was actually living in a trailer on her parents' property.
Okay.
In Carnation, Washington. Now, Carnation is a small rural town about 25 miles east of Seattle.
Okay.
So it's very secluded. It's one of those things where white people like to live. I don't know why, because I feel like this is where the serial killers go.
That's why. No, that's why.
White people like to live in the middle of no fucking where.
Well, it's
where nobody can hear you scream. It's
the white people that don't like the government in their way, telling them things like don't murder, that like that's up their craw,
They like to live, and they had a gate that was leading up to their property, but they had a lot of property. Like I said, her parents were doing pretty well, and she was living in a trailer on their property. Okay. Now, at this time, Michelle, now 29, she was unemployed. But she did have a boyfriend of 3 years, a man by the name of Joseph Thomas McEnroe. And Joseph worked at the local Target as like a cashier, just like what do they call them? Disney calls everybody a cast member. I don't know what Target calls everybody.
Listen, I'm just here to say real quick that you can't get a job at the Target also?
I mean, that might be a question that her parents had too.
I would ask that question.
I mean, but I also feel like, let's say you grew up in a upper middle class family, right?
Yeah, I did.
There's a part of you that thinks I shouldn't be struggling like this, especially if you're the type that doesn't like to work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, we're a similar age, so I'm like, I had the shit jobs. I did. Because I had no choice.
You had the shit jobs because that's what being an adult means.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and you had a shit job after college. So
well, after college, honestly. Yeah.
It's not clear whether Michelle went to college, but I suspect she probably did not.
I'm going to go with no. You have to do things like study and take tests. I can't imagine she was a big fan.
And follow through. But see what you just said, like, as an adult, you have to do things that you don't really, really like. And that's a part of like, you realize you're like, I have all this freedom, but it's like, man, I got to do stuff that I don't like to pay bills. So, but I guess she figured her parents have means. So, and that's probably, they're trying to help her out. They're like, you can stay. And it's not clear if it was her trailer that she pulled up there or if it was just a trailer. Maybe they were renting out as rental income.
It's their parents' trailer.
I know. I'm trying to give her a little,
Come on.
I'm just trying to help her out.
Trailer. And she's like,
I mean, it is hard to grow up, specifically if you've had parents who have done so well and who are also helping you your whole life. Like if they, again, I'm imagining they lived pretty well with her growing up. They probably went to good schools. They may not have had a Mercedes, but I could see their parents like, here's a truck. Here's like an old truck, like that kind of life. But at 29, if you haven't gotten your stuff together, like you're almost 30, girl, like what you doing? Like you said,
they've given you so many boots with straps in them. Pull them the fuck up. Come
Especially if you're 29 and you, to your point, why aren't you working at Target?
Yeah.
That's a very good point, because that would show them that you're trying. So,
right?
But she wasn't like destitute or anything, because her and Joseph lived together in the trailer.
Okay.
So she had some support, but obviously if they both worked at Target, they'd have more money, probably enough money to save to move it to an apartment. Now.
Yeah.
But again, Christmas was coming up, so the two decided to just focus on getting through the holidays, because, it's the end of the year wrap up or what have you. But more specifically, Michele was more focused on making things right as she saw them. And she expected her man to help her. So according to testimony, Joseph and on Christmas Eve, so December 24th, 2007, Michele and Joseph armed themselves, took their guns that they had purchased a few months earlier. I think she had purchased a 9mm, and he had purchased, I forget, I want to say maybe a .357, but I'm not quite sure of the caliber. But they had guns.
Yeah.
So they got into their pickup truck and drove up to the main house, to their parents, to her parents' home, where Wayne and Judy were, wrapping up. They were preparing for their family to come for Christmas dinner. Food was cooking, and Judy was actually in the back wrapping presents for her grandkids, because Scott had 2 children.
Okay.
But Michele and Joseph drove up, got out of the car. Once inside, the two killed Wayne, who's 60 at this time, and Judy, who's 61. Then waited for Michelle's brother, Scott, and his wife to show with their 2 young children.
Wow.
Once Scott, Erica, and their 2 children arrived, Michele and Joseph also killed them, including the babies, Nathan, who was 3, and Olivia, who was 5.
Well, Michele can go right the fuck to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can fuck the fuck off. Could have gotten a job at Target, Michele. Okay? Michele?
Yeah.
Okay.
Afterwards, they fled. Now, so they fled. The bodies were not discovered until 2 days later, on December 26th. Yeah, it's Christmas. When Judy's best friend and coworker, Linda, because Judy was still working at the post office, went to the home to see why Judy was absent from work. And she probably kept calling and nothing was, she didn't get an answer. So she looked in through the window and saw the bodies on the floor.
Jesus.
At first she thought it sounds like she saw Scott and his wife, Erica, and thought it was Judy and Wayne. But once she tried the door and it was unlocked. So she went in and she called 911. And King County detectives showed up. Obviously they came right away. And while they were at the property in response to the 911 and the discovery of the bodies, Michele and Joseph came back they came back and were like, oh, what happened? Oh my God, what's going on?
Mommy, daddy, brother. Yeah.
So the cops were just they were explaining what was happening. And at first they said, so Michele and Joseph said that they had decided to go to Las Vegas to get married. But then then Michele was like, oh, I forgot something at my parents' house. So then they decided just to come back. So basically they came up with this bogus story. But as detectives asked more questions, they realized that their story started to crumble.
Yeah.
So eventually both of them started singing like birds, girl, a partridge in a pear tree, and they admitted to the murders. You do this and then you crumble under like the slightest like pushback.
Jesus Christ. Like,
so
what?
they were promptly arrested. So they were arrested formally on December 26, 2007, one day after Christmas that year.
Damn.
Now, the two were indicted and each charged with 6 counts of first-degree murder. They waived their rights to appear in court, but after their testimony, after their interview and their confession, that was taped. But prosecutors decided to go to trial, obviously, because in court, prosecutors played Michelle's confession, which lasted more than 2 hours, during which time she stated, quote, because you want to know, like, why did they do this? Because it seems so callous. And so I'm going to get into a little bit like a backstory, like the motive, right? So she stated, quote, as soon as I shot the gun, I felt so bad. Like, what the hell have I done? I'm a monster, end quote. And then, she, according to Michelle, her brother, like I said, he worked as a carpenter, had failed to pay her back a $40,000 loan that she had paid him years before.
Michelle had given him $40,000?
Yes.
My asshole.
This is what she's claiming. I know, right?
Yeah.
Now,
if my brother is listening, he also owes me $40,000.
Yeah,
remember?
If both my brothers, you each owe me $40,000.
Right, yeah.
So now, but not only that, so he was refusing to pay, but her parents had taken his side and said, oh, that was long ago, and that type of thing, which pissed her off. But what pissed her off even more is that they said that it was time for her to start paying rent, because she had been living in the mobile home on their property for several months now.
Yeah, they're correct.
Now, to your point, Miriam, I will note that the $40,000 amount was never verified, because who could verify? The people who could are dead because she killed them.
Right. That worked out in her lying favor. Okay.
Yeah. Like, in the end, the court paper said that Michelle stated, quote, that she was tired of everybody stepping on her.
Oh, Michelle.
End quote. And that she said that she was tired of her parents taking her brother's side. And Michelle had said that she intended for things to be resolved at the dinner on December 24th. And if it hadn't been resolved, she was going to kill everybody. End quote. Now, my question is, you didn't even go to the house to see if it was going to be resolved. You went to the house with guns.
Yep.
So that doesn't even make sense.
So you're lying about that too.
Yeah, because it's one thing if you come there and then after Scott and his wife gets there and you're all eating and then you bring it up after dinner and they're like, no. And then it's like a crime of passion. But
no,
it doesn't.
Cold-blooded murder. Okay. Yeah. Like, now, damn.
So in trial, this is what they established happened.
Okay.
Now, according to detectives, Michelle said that she fired once at her father, at his head, but missed. Joseph stepped in, leveled his gun, and fatally shot Wayne, her father, in the head.
Jesus.
Judy, who was in the back wrapping Christmas gifts, heard the shots and ran from the back room where, like I said, where she'd been wrapping gifts.
Right.
She was shot by Joseph, who apologized to her before shooting her again, this time in the head, the court document said. Now, it goes on to say that for the next 30 to 45 minutes, the two dragged the bodies of her parents to a shed behind the house. They used towels and carpets to sop up the blood stains. And then they waited for Michelle's brother to arrive, which he did arrive with his wife, Erica. Both of them were 32 at the time. Ugh. And like I said, their 3-year-old son, Nathan, and their 5-year-old daughter, Olivia. Now, her brother and her sister put up a fight. I don't know if it's because they were younger or maybe who knows how they approached them. But they put up a fight. And according to documents, quote, Michelle told detectives that Scott charged her when she pulled out the gun and that she shot him at least twice and maybe as many as 4 times. Then it goes on to say that Michelle then shot Erica twice, but Erica was able to crawl over the back of the couch to call authorities.
Oh.
Joseph told so Erica, the wife, put up a fight and she got shot, but then she went to make the 911 call. And then Joseph told detectives that he tore the phone from Erica's hand and destroyed it. Now, according to the 911 call, because it did connect, it went through.
Oh, okay.
It lasted only a few seconds, and the dispatchers heard what sounded to them like people arguing at a party. Joseph was able to grab the phone from Erica, tore the batteries out of the receiver, and smashed it on the floor. Now, side note, because of this 911 call where it sounds like people were arguing, police did go out to the home. They went out to the home, but again, it's very secluded. There was like just like a gate to the property, but everything looked fine. So they decided not to investigate any further.
Ooh.
When they could have just literally just jumped the fence. It's not like it was unjumpable.
But you know what, though? By the time they got there, they wouldn't have stopped what happened.
No, but at least they could have found the bodies and things like that. And so. But now, also during the trial, it was revealed that the gate was locked because Michele, after she figured out that Erica's call went through, she went out and locked the gate to discourage people from coming in. It's family having a dinner. It's private. It was just like a silly argument. So all of this is premeditation.
So much premeditation.
Now, with the two grandparents dead, the two parents dead, now you have the children.
Oh, fuck me.
So trigger warning, huddling with the children. So they ripped the phone out of the thing. So actually, this is before Erica was dead. She pleaded with Joseph not to shoot her, saying, quote, "You don't have to do this." He replied, "Yes, we do." And he shot her in the head.
God damn
in front
him.
of her children. He then shot the little girl, 5-year-old Olivia, before turning the gun to Nathan, who's 3, who had picked up the batteries from the cordless phone his mother had used. And according to detectives, quote, McEnroe told detectives that, this is court papers, quote, McEnroe told detectives that Nathan held the batteries up in one hand and gave the look of complete comprehension as if he understood.
Oh, God. These people need to burn in fucking hell. You fucked with the baby. Mm-mm.
He then, now, according to his testimony, he apologized to both kids before he killed them, but he still ended up killing them, and he shot the little boy in the head.
I'd like to describe how I would like him to die.
Okay, go for it.
I'd like a tiny little dull knife. Mm-hmm. We're going to start with his penis. Mm-hmm. I don't know, let's just get, because then it's awkward, because it's embarrassing as well. And we're just going to chop little bits of his body, and I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to know what's going to happen. Yeah. And then as they do that, slowly, they're going to apologize.
Yeah. Because it's children. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering, why it's bad enough you're murdering your family, but why children? Yeah. So when asked why he shot Erica, Olivia, and Nathan, Joseph told detectives 3 times, quote, "I didn't want them to turn us in," according to the affidavit. Now, Michele told investigators, quote, "It was a combination of not wanting them to have to live with the memories and not wanting there to be any witnesses," end quote.
So it was compassionate. Listen, bitch, I want you to die the same way. Okay? I know we're a feminist podcast, but I'm not for all women. Bitch, I'm not for you. You can go to fucking hell. What do we say at the top?
Some of these bitches are horrific. This is one of these horrific bitches. It's bad enough killing. I mean, there's some adults I want to kill, definitely, but it would be a crime of passion or to save humanity. But killing them and then killing their children.
Go to hell. Go to hell.
Now, after the killings, the two first drove north to Canada, then south to neighboring state of Oregon, arriving at neither destination because they decided to go back and pretend to discover the bodies.
See, here's what happens when you cannot follow through with anything in life, girl. You go to jail.
Preach it. If you could not even complete if you could not even complete an application to work at Target during the holidays, mind you, right?
When pretty
with
much
your
if
boyfriend,
you're breathing and considered going to high school, they will hire you.
They will hire you. In 2007, absolutely, right? So if you're not even like strong enough to handle that follow through, how do you think you're strong enough to handle the planning of a murder and the fact that you guys didn't have like your stories straight? That's probably when they came up with this, like, oh yeah, we went to Vegas to get married and then we decided not to, because it's like, well, you went to Vegas, so where's the marriage certificate? Like,
yeah, like
no,
you don't need anything to get married in Vegas. You need like a driver's license.
Yeah, you need something.
That's it.
So when they arrived, investigators were already there. Like I said, they arrived. Detectives were curious why neither Michele nor Joseph asked what happened. They didn't say, oh my God, what happened? They were just like, oh, again.
Like a basic drama class would have helped them a little.
Stupid criminals that ended fatally for 6 people. And your family. So they began investigating, questioning them because they were suspicious. In the end, detectives asked Michele how long she had planned to kill her family once she confessed. She said 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So in December.
That's literally premeditation. That's literally go to hell. I mean, jail. I mean, both. Okay.
She says 2 weeks, but according to testimony and the court documents, she and Joseph went and purchased firearms. Now, I know these are white people living in the Midwest, so they probably gonna get firearms anyway.
Listen,
but
the outskirts of Seattle is sort of famous. Same with outskirts of Oregon. For that, the white supremacy, like, how we gonna keep our numbers strong? We're going to live out here in this beautiful greenery and buy all the guns. But
you bought the guns a couple months before the murder, but you're saying, oh, I only planned it 2 weeks. So you bought the gun. Even let's say we go on your logic of like, oh, well, they owe me and they better make it right. And like, that's not when you go and get a gun.
No.
Like, no. You bought the gun with the small intention of like, but again, she didn't think this through, because it's like, if you pull a gun on your brother and your father, like your family, you better pay me my money back, which it's probably in dispute how much it is, because $40,000 is a lot of money. Who's got $40,000? Did she win the lottery or something?
Yeah, like what? You did not have $40,000 to give. You can fuck off.
Yeah. And so, and that may have been the discrepancy that Scott balked at what she said was the amount. And he was like, and knowing her, probably was this kind of person, probably was like, well, this is the interest. And it's like, but again, he probably was like, $40,000. This
is not, let me tell you what happened. I know what happened.
What happened?
Parents, well off, put money away, had the good jobs. Right? Both of them, 2 income in those days, right? So maybe Scott's trying to buy a house. Maybe he needs help with a down payment. Maybe mom and dad go, we'll help you with a down payment. You're doing good. You have a good, generational wealth. That's how it's done. And she went, well, you gave him $25,000 with like 10 years ago, right? 8 years ago. So with interest, I get $40,000. Yeah. That's exactly what happened.
Or I wonder if the parents
fucked.
Set money aside for their schooling or to help them, and they each got money, and Scott may have put it, because Scott has a family, and Erica was Scott's high school sweetheart. So they started having children,
then that had happened a long time ago.
So they're spending their money on children, a house probably.
Right.
Whereas Michele, maybe the money is for college, and she just went through it. And then she was like, oh, I'll loan you. Maybe she loaned her brother $5,000. And then she's just sort of like, whatever it is. I hadn't thought about that, but you're so right. The family,
I think there was money, but it came from her parents. It was never her money.
Yeah, because where is she, again, unless she won the lottery, like where are you going to get all that money from?
Not even trying to work at Target. Not even trying to work a target.
Like, and it's not like, oh, I used to be a high powered so and so and lost my job, because she's only 29. So, and listen, I get it. Like, if your parents have means and you're a C student, you know, you're kind of like regular. You're not a fuck up. Of course your parents are going to help you. Like, that's what, like you said, generational wealth is for. Right. But generally your parents are like, well, I have to see you trying.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be trying, like
you have to do something. I didn't raise like
you can't just be living in the trailer with like not paying rent, not doing anything with no plan. Like, what's your plan, girl? What's your
Hell
like 29
yeah.
And at 29 they're like, girl, you almost 30. What you doing? What you doing with your life?
As like a mother? No, fuck her. Nope.
Because I would also imagine at that age, and that's just how I would be if I had a child this age, I'd be like, listen, we've been floating you forever. We're still working. Mom's still working.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out. I'm sure maybe she offered, hey, you want to maybe take the test to come down and work at the post office?
I was going to say, like, if you have an in, I was just going to say that if you have an in for a good government job,
take it.
Girl, like, nepotism that shit. Go get that job. You have to wake up, though. You have to wake up
on time and go to work. And I have a feeling that if I were like, you're 29 and you still been bullshitting, you got to show me. You got to spend the next year getting a job and going there every day. Then I'll continue to help you. But at this point, it's like you're just a freeloader.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So like, and it's not like, like you're an actor or you're a musician where you don't make a lot of money, but you're trying.
Right.
No, this is like you're sitting in the trailer all day stewing about how much people owe you.
Listen, as someone who was an actor and trying and auditioning, I also had a job because I had bills to pay.
Yes. So
it was a shitty job, like jobs I hated. Okay.
Because welcome to adulthood.
Right.
Like, welcome to adulthood. Now, after all of this, again, their testimony, their confessions were played in court. So on December 19th, 2014, so it took this long.
Wow.
A 16-member jury selected to hear the case against Joseph. So the trial began on December 19th, but on March 25th, 2015, the jury found Joseph McEnroe guilty of aggravated first-degree murder on all 6 counts.
Hell yeah.
A little bit later, Joseph was sentenced to life in prison and avoided the death penalty, mainly due to the state moratorium on death penalty. It's the only reason he avoided it.
He's fucking lucky.
Yeah.
I don't want most people to go to the death penalty, but I want him to.
This is pretty cold blood. Now,
you looked
on
a baby
March
in the
4th,
face, you could die. Okay.
Yeah. Now, on March 4th, 2016, about 8.5 years after they did these heinous crimes, committed these heinous crimes, Michele Anderson was found guilty of 6 counts of aggravated first-degree murder as well. She was sentenced to life imprisonment in April of 2016. Now, Joseph is currently at the last couple of years. This is what he was at the Washington State Penitentiary, and Michele was at the Washington Correction Center for Women.
Okay.
So that is the story of Michele Anderson.
Damn.
Who killed her family, including children, 3 generations of a family on Christmas Eve in 2007.
And that is a lovely Christmas story that Lavetta has brought to us today.
Seriously, I brought this to you guys because a lot of stuff, tensions are high.
Yeah.
Emotions are high during the holidays.
Yeah.
Families get together and old grievances come together. The sad thing about this is that they didn't even have time to do that. Like, she and Joseph just drove up with the intention of killing them.
They planned this, and they planned this for months. And they were like, I'm not having one more Christmas with these people who owe me, blah.
Yeah. Like, but I mean, it's a cautionary tale. I know it might be a bit of a bummer, but it's a cautionary tale. Like, guys, really just sort of like taking your surroundings, try and get along, especially after this recent election. A lot of tempers are going to flare. Like, try and just drink some spiked eggnog or spiked chocolate. and chill the fuck out. Just get into a sleep coma, like a food coma.
Yeah.
Just eat. If your family members are annoying the fuck out of you, eat and be like, I'm bouncing. Like, I'm going to go and hang out with my friends.
Some food and say, I have some other commitments I have made to a dear friend whose mother is ill. Make some shit up. Make some shit up.
Just
it's
leave.
Fine.
Be like, I got work tomorrow because Christmas lands the middle of the week this year. So this is just a cautionary tale. Like, be on the lookout for family members. Because like you said, this is not even like, it's very clear that this was premeditated because they just walked up shooting people.
Yeah.
But for most people, they'll get together. People don't really want to be there, but maybe they've been made to feel guilty, so they show up begrudgingly.
Right.
Maybe somebody burned the mac and cheese. I don't know. That would put me in a foul mood. Like if the mac and cheese is ruined. But you know what I won't do? Take out and shoot somebody. And I definitely won't be shooting children.
Oh my God. These people need to, I mean, this is a good conversation about, this is interesting to me because, I like to try to find the good in people, et cetera, but I do think that some people should rot in hell. Like, I really do. I think that, like, I'm not someone for I don't believe in decriminalizing most things. Like, I don't, like, we're Democrats, right? And we're liberal Democrats. So, but there's like a spectrum, I think, of like, oh, it's not really a crime. No, that's a fucking crime and you should die. Like
anything dealing with children too, I'm just like,
rot in hell. Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't spare me this. Like, I didn't want them to live without their parents. No, you didn't want them to be able to say Auntie Michelle did it. With Uncle Joseph.
You didn't want them to live with this trauma.
Yeah.
How about you don't inflict on them this trauma? Yeah. Okay, bitch. And I say bitch in the bad way. Okay.
Yeah, in the bad way, right? Like, also, if you have grievances and you think your family members owe you money and you're pissed off about it, maybe not go to dinner this year. Maybe let's skip it. Like, maybe they should have gone to Vegas. But you know why they couldn't go to Vegas? Because they probably didn't have the money to go to Vegas. Because you know why? Only Joseph is working.
Yeah. At Target.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Target. At Target. Like, no, that's not enough. Like, know, because Michelle's not the type that can just live on her means. Like, she wants all the fancy stuff. She wants like a big ass ring.
Right. Like, let's be real. In 2007, if you're not paying for housing at all, you have access to someone else's food pantry. Okay, because she's stealing food from the big house.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that one salary from Target would actually, like, you could probably live on that. You're not paying for food and you're not paying for shelter.
But honestly, but she's stewing in the $40,000 that she has in her head, and then the fact that they have the nerve to ask her to pay rent. But in their mind, I know this is what they're thinking. They're thinking, you need to get used to paying rent because you're going to be moving out soon. Back into your own place.
Because you're a person in
you're an
the
adult.
world.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So fuck this bitch for Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Yes. Things not to do for Christmas.
Yes. Yes.
This is not to do, but that wraps it up for the latest episode of the Notorious Women, and it also wraps up our latest arc.
Yes.
Of Pumpkin Spice, Naughty and Nice, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know all the things.
Yeah, and if you guys have an idea for an arc that we can do, a theme that you like, you can email us, and I'll let Miriam tell you about that. But before that, please go to the Apple Store and Spotify and leave us a 5-star review. 5 stars. 5 stars. Just you don't even have to leave anything. Just say,
and it would super help us. Yeah,
you could say 5 stars in the title and then 5 stars in the text of the review. Just say 5 stars. Also, if you want to share any of our episodes or share the show, please just copy the link and send it to your friend. Copy the link, send it to your friend. And also, when you are doing that, click on the show yourselves and click either follow in the app on the iPhone or subscribe. You can do that. That will help us out. If you want to help us out financially, you can do that at our patreon.com/notoriouswomen. That's patreon.com/notoriouswomen. And Miriam, how else can they help and support the show and find us? And
yeah, you guys, we have Instagram. Come join us at Instagram. It's a good time. Notorious Women Podcast. We're also on TikTok, where our TikTok is a little different than our Instagram. So it's also Notorious Women Podcast. We also have an email, which is notoriouswmpod@gmail.com. So you have short things and you want to DM us at Insta, you can. If you have longer things, you can email. And we also have shows on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and subscribe there. And we are at Blue Sky. It's Notorious Women at bluesky.something else. You know it. Okay.
But it's Notorious Women. And guys, please do not kill your family.
Don't do it.
Just eat all the good stuff. Actually, you know what? Stress eating is acceptable this time of year. Just do that.
This is the week. This is the time.
Just do it. Do that. And we will see you. Actually, we will be back in a couple weeks because next week we will have the interview with Annie Reed, and then we're going to take a week off from that. So we will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Actually, we will see you in the new year. So
yes, we will.
Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.